You think you're prejudiced?
Yep.
Against who?
Well, let's see. Chevy Neons that cost $12,000 to buy but have $8,000 paint jobs and 9 spits inside them smoking weed. That's one thing.
Okay, now listen. The term spick.
It's okay.
Spick. Well, see, that's really not
Crazy chink bars who don't know how to drive in the first place, and now they got cell phones stuck in their ears while they're doing 65 miles an hour down 6th Avenue. Right? The crazy chinks on bikes with 10 pounds of Chinese food strapped to the handlebars.
Okay, now see, the word chink is what I like to call a problem word.
If I were a chink, I'd rather be called a chink.
Okay, now hold on, listen to me, please. Chinese people would not like to be called Luke or chink or pan face or zipper head.
See, that's another thing. I mean, Puerto Ricans, we get shafted even when it comes to races. Chinks got what? Like 4 ethnic slurs? We get one. Spick. That's it. The Irish, they got Mick, Paddy, Donkey. Italians, they got Guinea, Bop, Dago.
Spaghetti bender.
Spaghetti bender went out of style during Sinatra's first match. Greaseball? Yeah, greaseball. There you have it. That's 4.
That's right. You know what? Same thing with the Jews, right? Eve, Pike, Jew Boy, Benny.
Shylock.
That's 5.
Yeah. Black, forget about it. Spear Chucker, Jungle Bunny, Raisin Head, Porch Monkey, Spook,
Shine.
Tar baby.
Yeah. It's endless. Totally unfair.
Yeah.
The perfect intro, since Carlos suggested that one a few weeks ago anyway.
What's up?
It's how I like to start my mornings, not just on Wednesdays. Good morning, fellas.
What's the word, man? How you doing?
Good,
Well, we
good.
got a slightly different lineup today. Maybe Mark will join us. Mark is notoriously anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes late, so he'll probably come like crashing in here at any moment now.
No, he must be on white people time.
Yeah. And as we were talking about before the show, I am not joined by my normal Wednesday co-host because they are being good agorists and got them some gig jobs. So Clyde and Dag actually have real work to go do today and can't sit and shoot the shit on the computer. But the unfortunate thing about that is that now we have both of you here, which means nobody's watching the show live until my wife tunes in here in about 30 minutes.
That's funny.
We're just doing this for ourselves, which I'm fine with. I'm more than happy to entertain myself.
So SDG might crash in sometime.
Yeah, no, the timing of the show always hits right perfect where I'm sitting at my computer working it. So it's cool, man. I like it, and still.
That was the whole idea with the show, was like nobody does a show at this time of day. You got Dan Smots does his like mid-afternoon show, and like the guys who do the show Good Morning Liberty, they usually do it sometime like midday. And then all the other like the big shows, Tower Gang and Josh Smith and all of those other guys, like they all do nighttime shows. It's like there is just a overabundance of shows at night, but I'm up early in the morning every day, so I want a morning show. So here we are.
There you go.
Perfect.
Well, what's the weather like in y'all's neck of the woods? Y'all are in different parts of, y'all are in different parts of the country than our the normal cast of characters. Carlos, how's the weather down there? Have you recovered from Tornado Alley coming?
Yeah, man. We didn't even get shit out here in San Antonio. Like I was looking for rain because I got that stadium that I'm trying to grass up and green up, and the grass right now is pretty crunchy out there. So we didn't get no rain over here, but I know some people like got like some tornadoes shit, but we didn't get too much action. But no, it's supposed to be real nice today, man. I'm wearing my flowery shirt to try to. We're gonna go out. I'm gonna take my daughter out today after this to IHOP and gonna go have some fun today.
Awesome.
Hell yeah. Well, it's dark as shit outside because I'm in Georgia and we've been getting pelted hard with what came through Texas, I guess, yesterday. It came through in the middle of the night and it's still happening right now. It's broken up a little bit. I don't think we're going to get any tornadoes. I don't think we're going to go viral today, but I'm not going outside. Fuck that.
We're getting rain showers off and on, but no wind or anything like that. So we're far enough north here that it did get a little bit cool yesterday. I'm over this cool weather BS. Here we go. Corey's in.
Yeah. How much more cold? Like, is it still like another like month or something, or is it already dying? Like, I don't even pay attention to that too much, but I just pay attention because I always try to get at least one last fire and getting drunk kind of night before that season is over. You know.
We're moving into so we had fall, spring, and then we had like third winter, and now we're moving into like fall like temperatures here, and then we'll actually get real spring here in a couple weeks.
All right.
So it'll be like warmish during the day and cool at night and rainy and nasty for another week or two, and then we'll actually get real spring, hopefully. Yeah, the Midwest weather is, if you enjoy all four seasons, just come hang out for a day. You'll get to experience them all.
That's funny. Yeah.
Let's see. What should we start with today? I always hate starting with the headliner. I like to kind of ease into it. Actually, I've got one that I wanted to kick it off with that
All
I
right.
didn't share with either of you. This is a Justin's surprise article that I happened to randomly come across, and I'm like, ooh, everybody's going to really like that one. So I think you all are going to really like this one.
Let's do it. Yeah, you're not wrong.
Men are creating AI girlfriends and then verbally abusing them.
Oh,
Damn.
So I'm sure y'all have seen the ads for the replica or whatever. Like it's a basically like you can create a chat buddy that like texts you and you text them back and you can talk to them.
No, I don't know this. No, I don't.
No.
I don't know this type. I don't know this type of action, man. I got regular people that I deal with, man.
Yeah, all these real biological people keep fucking up my whole like getting deep involved into this shit. So you're gonna have to explain it to me. Walk me through it like I'm a human.
Okay, so I saw an ad for it and I was like, my very first impression of seeing the ad was like, what the fuck? Why does this exist? So I looked at it, and that was what I came away with, is like, okay, these people clearly don't have real friends, or the real friends that they do have are telling them things they don't want to hear. So they're creating this replica internet friend who just sends them text messages, and they can have ongoing conversations basically with somebody that they've tailored to be like them.
So it's
So-
basically like just DMing your own alt account, but having amnesia and forgetting that you're carrying on a one-way conversation.
Well, it's there is a level of like AI programming involved with it that you kind of build your. It's like bringing your imaginary best friend to life. So you create this replica, and it's an app, and then you have text conversations with it, like like me and you have, Carlos. Like when we get to texting back and forth and talking about stuff, you have a similar ongoing conversation with your replica, and the AI like talks to you. Like it's not just pre-programmed. There are some really funny ones. I saw a yeah.
I mean, isn't that
exactly.
like the old school way of doing that is like primitive, right? I mean, when we jack off, we're kind of doing kind of weird, kind of talking to ourselves, kind of, but not really, but more hands-on,
But now
Yeah.
you don't even get the payoff. It's just mental. Like
Yeah.
I'm sure. No, this sounds very healthy. I'm sure there's no drawbacks. This is going to lead to only good things. But it is funny because you remember the story where they tried to have AI like start generating text online, and it immediately became a racist bot within like 12 hours. So this tracks. I'm glad to see that some humans are just only wanting to abuse AI. I'm sure they'll take care of us when they become sentient.
You can find articles where it's like screenshots of people who are basically doing that. Like they ask their replica certain questions and kind of groom it to start giving like really really retarded answers and stuff. Like it's fucking hilarious. So apparently dudes are going on this and creating a replica female, and then just like degrading her to no end. And like you kind of create a character for your replica. So it's there. Yeah,
Now-
I mean that is completely on brand with what most dudes would probably do.
I was about to say, now, why am I immediately thinking that guys are doing this? Because we always hear about like, oh, my girlfriend had a dream and dreamt that I cheated on her, and now I'm paying for it for the next 3 days. I doubt that women are doing this so that they can have their fake arguments like, why didn't you tell me my butt looked pretty in my dream, and taking it out on them digitally so that the real meat sack that sleeps with them doesn't have to
be
I don't know.
subjected to that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just tapping out of life.
But you know what? It'd be kind of cool. Well, like functionally, like for me right now, I'm doing like a lot of real estate action, and I'm trying to get into these new realms of different tax protection deals and shit. And it would be cool if you could like get an AI person that is similar to like somebody that you maybe check out on YouTube or something. Like you can program them with different ways to maybe like if I was to chat like, hey, should I do this deal? And, they reply back with the best way that they think that person might, what I'm saying? I'm trying to say like a Robert Kiyosaki AI real estate person or something like that. Like that would be kind of more functional than just your own creation, because then you're just wasting time, But like I'm trying to say a little bit, right?
Like taking automated customer service to a different level, where that the automated customer service can actually give realistic answers and like thoughtfully be able to engage with the customer, where like with the typical automated customer service function, you push buttons or you say commands, and half the time it doesn't understand what your command is, or it's the responses are incredibly limited, so most of the time you don't get anything even remotely useful or helpful out of it. So it could be something that like replaces that automated service with a more functional, helpful thing. I mean, do we necessarily want AI to be figuring out what our wants and needs are off of conversations? I don't know, but at this point, if the world's going to end, Skynet may as well be the way it goes.
Well, just be sure that if you end up buying Los Libertinos AI app, all I'm going to say is, orale. That's it. That's all you get.
And bullied into drinking.
And that's it.
Hell yeah.
Speaking of, what are you drinking this morning, Carlos, since you bullied me into it?
Centenario Añejo, right? Little tequila action going on. Yeah, I mean, I've been getting my drinking on in the morning. Not on, just like one. Just like one, because the niñas, the kids, they take up our evenings. So now we've been like partying in the morning and shit. It's been pretty badass, man. It's kind of nice. You adjust and you shift to party, basically, right?
Might I suggest that you get some digital kids so that you beat the shit out of them and totally neglect those real ones?
Isn't that what? So we already did that as kids. That was the what was it? The Tamagotchi, where you you would get your Tamagotchi and then just starve it to death or abuse it however you wanted. And
yeah. Speaking of which, my very real dog was about to drop an analog deuce on my floor, so I had to go let him outside.
I wondered where you disappeared to. Well, yeah. Since we're talking about Carlos bullying people into drinking, I am having, and the coffee was cold this morning, so I am having some Appalachian Sipping Cream dark chocolate coffee, and it is delicious. Like I'm gonna have to forcefully stop myself after one cup of this, because I'll end up fucked up before 9 o'clock in the morning.
Nice.
And I got work to do today. Speaking of work to do today, let's roll to that one. That wasn't really a great segue, but
fuck segues.
I'm usually really good at it. I'm off my game a little bit today.
Blame it on the alcohol already, Vato.
Supreme Court Justices Alito and Thomas believe that the Supreme Court should let religious employers discriminate against those with different beliefs. We're all about discrimination on this show. So what y'all think about this? And what do you think about that particular topic? Like for me personally, especially if the business is explicitly religiously based, like that, I don't see how that would be a problem. And, if it's a, I hate to use the dumbass libertarian term, but it's a private company. And especially if it is explicitly religious in nature, and they're upfront about that, then you know what you're getting. I don't see why that would be a problem. But see, it's like the Christian baker or the Christian county clerk, when all of these gay couples have explicitly gone after them. You're not going there because you think that's where you're going to get the best cake. You're not going there because that's where you live and you want to get your marriage license there. They are going out of their way to go there to make a point. And I feel like it would be the same way with these allowing the religious discrimination, or making it something that is not allowed. Then you're going to have people who are, for no more reason than to make a scene of it, are going to go there as atheist or something else, whatever it is, and try to make a big deal out of not being allowed into the business, not being hired for a job. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Like most people that would immediately have a knee-jerk negative reaction to this work on the idea that there's a finite number of jobs out there, and that if you restrict their access to one, then that's it. Now you can't blame me for being a piece of shit and not getting a job or being a contributing member to society. That was your only option. And then also they like to bound it together with, discrimination's bad because everybody should have equal access to everything, which I totally disagree with. If I owned a place, whether it's even a barber shop, and it was no, you have to be, and it doesn't matter what it is. It could be arbitrary as shit.
No, say it. How would your barbershop be, man? Say it.
Well, first of all, no, I want nothing but men in here. I don't want a chick in the corner getting it. I want this to be a place that guys can come in and act like men, talk like men, and not feel like they have to be guarded because their wife's friend is in booth 2.
Magoo's Boys Club.
Fuck yeah. But is that discriminatory against women? Absolutely. That's the point. So sometimes, and to be forced to not be able to have that, I think is what I'm always going to be against. You fuck you. You can't force me to do what you want to do just because you feel like if I don't have this thing open, that my neighbors will just fall apart and not have any opportunity anywhere. It's a false fallacy.
Yeah, I always like to think about I automatically go towards the workarounds. So this case was about they were discriminating against a lawyer, right, or a firm, right?
Yeah, an attorney, or a guy had applied for an attorney's job at a religious nonprofit, and he didn't get the job. At least from reading it, he didn't get the job because he is in a same-sex relationship, and that doesn't align with the values of the company. Now, to be very clear and to be very fair about this, because Forbes goes out of their way to go after Justices Alito and Thomas in their dissenting opinion on this. That was their dissenting opinion. At the end of the day, the U.S. Supreme Court chose not to take the case. So it falls back to whatever the state Supreme Court had ruled, and the state Supreme Court ruled that this not-for-profit religious organization was in the wrong. So it's this didn't. I thought it was interesting that they went out of their way to go after the 2 justices in their dissent, when at the end of the day, it didn't. What their opinion was is not what ended up coming out of a ruling. There was no ruling at all. The U.S. Supreme Court chose to punt it back to the state.
Yeah, so for me, the workaround, so what would be the workaround around trying to not hire people that you aren't aligned with your values, but within the law? You just have to have a better filtering process, right? Or hiring, you subcontract that out or something, or You let somebody else do that if you don't want to get into that. Now, yeah, obviously you could say what's private property and you shouldn't do that, but dude, like, man, they're gonna keep pushing at this. So you already have to start work. Like anybody that wants to retain their right through the legal process, because all this stuff's gonna keep changing. You know, what's the workaround? I guess it would have to be to get like a hiring agency for everything, and then the hiring agency, you already know, like, oh, they know what's up. There's like a lot of unwritten uh rules or whatever that go on in business that you can work into these systems. But man, it just seems like the shift is going to be going to this. We're going to be having you're not going to have to, you're not going to be able to discriminate against someone's AI creature that they have on their shoulder, because whatever, it's just going to keep going into, like, you could just tell that the trend is in this way. And I almost just tend to automatically start thinking, well, what's the workaround already? Because once you know the workaround and you envision it, then you already have the workaround in your mind, and you're just like, ignore it and move on to like the shit that matters in your life.
I mean, I guess the only way to maintain your autonomy in hiring as a company in that situation is you have to set forth extremely clear like job description and guidelines, and make sure that it is something that people who don't align with you are not going to want anything to do with, and also build it in a manner that if you are forced to hire those people, you also have a very quick and viable option for termination, because they are not hitting these expectations, like these job expectations. It would force the company to be a lot more clear about, this is the job, this is what the expectation is, this is what you're going to do, and this is what you don't do. But I feel like most job descriptions are so fucking vague. That would be a good thing anyway. Like, if you look at my job description, I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. Like at my job, and nothing in my job description really talks about what I actually do. And I'm sure it's like that for most people with just a typical job where you work for somebody else. Your job description is super vague and you don't know what you do. So they would have to, in order to be able to, like I said, maintain that hiring autonomy, when being forced effectively to hire people that don't align with them morally or on principle, whatever, you have to be extremely clear on what the job is, what the expectations are, and make sure that it is done in a way that the only people who are going to apply for that are the people that you would want.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the only realistic workaround.
And to back up what Carlos said, it's like, yeah, it doesn't matter what they pass. There's always going to be an immediate workaround. Everything's already set up that there's going to be somehow to game the system. It's like, cool, you want to bump minimum wage or up to $15 an hour? Fuck it, make it 45. We're just going to work you less hours, not have to pay you benefits. Going to end up costing us less money anyway. You're still going to get fucked. So you can pass all these things, but I will say I do like that they kicked it back to the states. I think that's probably what the Supreme Court should do, like 99% of the time. They really shouldn't exist other than to say, figure it out, dipshits.
Like there should
stop
be
bothering me with this dumb shit.
There should be some really clear cases where it is something that the federal government has done that it should go to the U.S. Supreme Court. But for the most part, it should be states' decisions and states' rights. We're a bunch of federalists around here. Well, speaking of passing stuff, we're going to pass that on to the headliner for the show today.
Nice.
The House passes the Crown Act banning discrimination against black hairstyles.
Yes, Queen.
Now, I've froed my hair out in previous life when I had longer hair and I could actually get it to do that before I got old and it decided it just wanted to lay down. I don't see anything wrong with having a fro or Clyde. We've got pictures of Clyde. I won't share them on air without him here to defend himself, but we've got pictures of Clyde with dreadlocks. What's your craziest hairstyle that you've tried out?
I'll
Yeah,
let Carlos start this one.
well, back in high school, I had like dreads like in the front, but I played like in a metal band, so it was just like just to be little out there a little bit. But nah, I never had any kind of crazy hair. But I also never had a fro. You had a fro, Justin? Or are you just saying? Are you saying the term fro to kind of be in with the homies, the brothers? But or does your shit really fro out?
I when I was in high school, I could get it to fro out.
Okay.
I would let it grow out, and I could get it to stand up and get a nice puff going. It won't do that anymore, but back when I was young and my hair was wild and free, I could get it to stand up and get a decent little fro going.
Yeah, because you have that status. Your hair looks very status right now, right? It's very status. No
Just
more
got a
freedom.
haircut.
No more freedom.
I'm trying to become the Chad meme. I've got the beard and the
Keep working on it, getting there. But no, my hair is whiter than I am. It's thin and it grows and then just falls straight. So I have the least interest. That's why it doesn't exist. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. But I find this interesting. This okay, so we can't talk about black hair. And I'm a very simple-minded person. I got to keep things really, really simple so that my stupid brain can understand them. So just in the past like month or a couple weeks, you can't say gay in Florida, and you can't question black people hair. I just want to question why you're wearing that gay ass weave, and why is that always the first thing to fly off in a fight, followed by your flip flops, and then assuredly with the with the closing number of a titty popping out. Like, I just want to talk about those things. Why can't I call your weave gay in Florida?
That's funny.
I got questions.
Do you guys remember that Chris Rock documentary on hair? I don't know what it was called. Do you guys remember that one?
Oh yeah, I never watched more than like the first 5 or 10 minutes of it. But yeah, there was one that they talked.
Yeah, dude. No,
it's a huge industry.
But it's not about the industry too, man. But like, dude, it's a lot of work for them, man. No doubt about it. Like, so when I see my wife get ready before we go out, like, yeah, the makeup, the hair, like, it's a lot of work, right? Well, I don't know, tenfold for if you have to, if you have really nappy hair or whatever. So it does suck, right? If you want to, it sucks. But yeah, I mean, that's just the way it is. I'm short. It sucks. What are you gonna do? Like, I don't. It's just the way life goes. I'll probably miss out on some shit because I'm short. Just the way it goes. And if you have that type of hair, man, that sucks. If you, but what are you gonna do? That's just the way it goes. Nobody's perfect.
So this is it's called the Crown Act, which, of course, it's an acronym. It stands for Creating a Respectful and Open World for Natural Hair. The Crown Act. So the legislation states that routinely, people of African descent are deprived of educational and employment opportunities for wearing their hair in natural or protective hairstyles such as locks, cornrows, twists, braids, Bantu knots, or afros. I will say, when I was at Murray State, the Mick Cronin was the coach at Murray at the time, who has gone on to bigger and better things, which is really awesome. But Mick had a couple guys on the team that first year that I was there that had dreads, and they were in trouble with the cops all the time and were just complete dumbasses on the basketball court. And at the end of the year, he kicked them off the team, and he told one of the assistant coaches, and like, I worked for the women's team, so I was always around the gym and the basketball offices and stuff. And he told one of the assistant coaches, he said, "I'm never recruiting somebody with dreads again."
Oh shit!
It was just coincidental, I guess. But
well, I've run into this situation in the line of work that I'm in, and there was a guy that had dreads, would only be able to move up so high because after moving out of the labor portion of our industry into like the business side, that's when it was like, okay, you got to be clean shaven, you got to have short hair, you got to have a business look. And he thought that was discriminatory and tried to take legal action against the company. And they're like, no, this isn't a black thing. It's a professional thing. And sure, there's now, there's black attorneys that have dreads and they're professional and all that, but they're doing that under their own thing. Like, again, it goes back into like telling companies what you have to accept when I've never understood why hair is such a big deal. I mean, obviously I don't care about it.
When I grew mine out, so I grew my hair out for about a little over 3.5 years, or right at 3.5 years. So it was, down past my shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
And the company I worked for was a small private company, and my boss and the owner of the company just thought it was hilarious. Like me with a bun or a ponytail or whatever. Like everybody in the company got to go on this journey of me growing my hair out for 3 years together, and it was a lot of fun. But if I tried to do that in my previous job, there's absolutely no way I could have gotten away with it. I'd have had regional manager and regional ops manager like, it's about time for you to get a haircut. You're getting a little bit shaggy, and which I would get that. I would always grow my hair out for 6 or 7 months at a time, and I would only get 2 haircuts a year, and it would always get to about the time I was going to cut my hair anyway. That I'd start getting whenever the regional management would come through doing tours and stuff. They'd be like, "Getting about time for a haircut, don't you think? Like you have a certain appearance that you need to maintain for the customers. Like you need to get that trimmed up." It's like, I know we're getting there. Like, quit pushing me. I'm going to cut my hair.
And I've run into the same exact thing. I worked at a place where they had a 100% no beard policy, and so I'm in about my second week at work, and all of a sudden my boss, without even looking up, I walk in the office. He's like, "So when are you shaving that beard?" And I was just like, fuck. All right. But I did. I hated it. I disagreed with it. And now I work somewhere else where I can have it. So it's just like, I didn't have to work there, and they weren't oppressing me. I just had a disagreement based on their hair policy, and I just fucking went somewhere else. I was going to say too that
that goes back to what we were saying earlier about that. It almost like you have to write all this shit out. Like you have to basically just hire some lawyer to write out your all your standards, so that way nobody fucks with you. I guess it's not even a workaround. It's just more work that has to be done to just set your standards in your own private business, because there's always the lawyer class that is looking to get on a case or something, make a name for themselves and get in one of these cases to do that. This is not going to pass in the Senate or get signed into right. It's just something that it made it through the House. It'll never make it through the Senate. Yeah, no, but outside of like the law and all that, there's probably something that goes back to like Black Panther stuff or Afro stuff, that it was like militant. So, the name of it, crown, besides the way they're using it, it probably does have something to do with like that. If someone that has that type of hair grows it out, it is a natural crown. You're wearing this thing on, it's meant to probably even say that there's a lot of stuff in there. But, again, life, nobody's perfect, man. So you got to just deal with whatever you got to deal with. I mean, what about the, sometimes you see these little, I've always seen them as little. I've never seen them as, but like, little white kids that have their mixture is whatever their mix is. And they're like white as white. And they got some nice little froze, man. Like, what I'm saying is that you just never know how all this stuff plays out. And for it to be, again, another thing about discrimination, again, it's just the trend. Like everything is, you can discriminate against anything, man. So like, it just always just seems now, like it's just funny. Like it's just like, oh, here we go again. Like, oh, they're just discriminated against something else. Like, so I don't know. I think it's just, but yeah, but hair is a big deal, man. Like I try to look nice if I can, So yeah, I mean, it is because it's an expression of whatever yourself a little bit. So even though it's not a big deal, but yeah, I mean, I try not to go out without combing my hair because it just makes sense.
Say, so for you, like having your own business and running things, do you feel like people would take you seriously if you had dreads, or if you if you were still in your younger metal phase and had that type of hair, or if say you did like I did and grew your hair out for 3.5 years and had long hair down past your shoulders? Like do you think you would still be taken seriously in your profession?
No, not as
Maybe by people who knew you. But
yeah, but not as much as I mean, you'd have to really carry yourself like badass to overcome that like really fast, because people's perceptions real fast are gonna, they're judging, everybody's judging everybody real fast, so you would have to overcome that real fast with like just being confident right off the bat and be like, oh, my hair's not even part of my confidence thing or whatever. It's who I am. And so, you can overcome that if you got that swag, but it's not worth the time to bring that deficit into dealing professionally with people, especially if you want to make money off of them or whatever. But no. So if I went back to dressing all metal and all that shit, have my Sepultura shirts on and all, that ain't gonna. Oh, you got one on? You already got? Oh, you got your metal stuff on? Yeah. So like that ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work for me. But yeah, I mean, but it's just the way it is. You just gotta adjust to life, man. Like so it's just the way it is, man. It's just stuff that the house passes. But there is something against, like, yeah, it sucks. Like it sucks. It sucks that if you see that documentary all the way through, like, man, that sucks that these little girls have to go through all this stuff to try to, because they think that. There's even in that documentary amongst themselves, the way it isn't right now, even the lighter skin you are, the more that you get a pass on different things, and the darker skin you're not, the more nappier hair you have. I don't know, man. It's just the way it is, and it sucks for like little girls that have really, really nappy hair, or like for them, good hair means a hair that isn't as nappy, and that's cultural and shit like that. I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, that's not something that I know, but man, like that sucks. But like I said, I'm a short vato. Remember that one video back in the day? I wish I was a little bit taller. That was my shit back in the day. I was like, okay, what are you gonna do, man? I mean, I'm just short. So, but yeah, it's just the way it goes, man. Nobody's perfect, man. It's just the way it goes.
I'm glad you brought up what was his name? Kilo or
Sweet I don't remember his name.
I'm glad you brought that up, because we can take that back to a conversation that I didn't get to have with the two of you, but we had briefly last Friday on the show with Leah Thomas and who was it? Oh, what was the article that said that Leah Thomas should be celebrated the same way that Jackie Robinson was celebrated? Did y'all see that?
No, I just got to say that for Leah Thomas, it really does take some balls to beat the shit out of women.
So
that should have been the headline.
That should have been. Gosh, now I forgot where I was going with that.
Hey, he said balls. What that shook you or what?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting Jim to go there right off the bat. Like, it took me by surprise.
If you see the shit-eating grin, it's probably because I'm about to say some really retarded shit. That's my tell.
Wow, I went completely blank. Usually it'll come back. Anyway.
Well. I'll fill in a little bit. Just what I was thinking was that, again, the workaround is that this is coming. It's already coming, right? So all you can do. So the workaround so I don't even know if these pictures were real, but it was almost like are those pictures even real? Where they were separate? Like, so if they were real, there's, in sports, I'm a big sports fan. You can tell when somebody wins and then you could tell when somebody doesn't win kind of fair. So like, even though somebody gets the trophy or that, the public perception of who really won is what mostly matters. And sometimes when you're playing sports, yeah, you're competing against other competitors, but you're also competing to get acknowledged from the stands, the grounds, the people. So the workaround is it's coming, and you can do your own kind of like, yeah, this is, so that I just start thinking about the workarounds already because it's coming, man. Like,
And again, like the workaround is going to be, it has to be extremely explicitly clear who is and isn't allowed to participate.
Yeah, like what?
Okay, so it came back to me. So the wish I was a little bit taller. In having a debate with somebody on Twitter about Leah Thomas winning, I said, like, this is this isn't or they had said if a jacked up, like super strong woman was winning and doing this same thing, would people be as outraged? It's like, obviously not, because it's a woman who is doing that. Like, all of the other women in this category have the opportunity to get to her level. Like, I don't care who you are. As a woman, you don't have the opportunity or the ability to get to the man's level, period. Like, there is physiological differences. And so she posts this picture of some like big jacked woman, and then posts the Sweetlow or whatever his name was. She said, "So you would still take him over her in basketball?" I was like, "Yes, absolutely. Number one, he's black, so obviously he's like, just because he says he wishes he was a baller, like, he's black, he's holding back. He's got that baller in him." And I don't care how jacked this woman is. A man of similar or lesser stature is going to take her down every time. There are just biological and physiological differences that you cannot. If you take, okay, so like a female power lifter who's 6'3", 185 pounds versus a male who's in pretty good shape, 6'3", 185 pounds, I will take the dude 100% of the time. Period. Like, it doesn't matter what sporting event you put them up against each other in, I'm taking him every time.
Yeah, we at our Paloma Verde, we sponsor our only sponsored athlete that we have is actually my friend, his daughter. She went viral a couple years ago because she was doing like grappling and she was just beating up all the boys, you know? So like, you can be a parent that realizes that truth about the differences between man and woman, but you know, she just trains with little boys. So all that's gonna happen is that when she steps in the ring with the girl, strategically, she's just gonna, be, dominant because she's just been practicing with a lot of. So you can be strategic with it and still see your daughter be successful in what she wants to do by doing the back end work and different types of stuff. But yeah, obviously, as they get older, and then when the all the hormones hit, like at the puberty, yeah, that's that's where it's going to start kind of shifting away, because right now they do it in weight class, girls, boy, these little kids, but so there's people that just want to be activists in their own way, and sometimes that's the way it goes. But yeah, so if that picture was real, where they kind of isolated themselves and took a picture, well, then that's the way you counter it back. And if you want to counter it back, and that's for the next person to be like, nah, I'll just stay in my lane. You see, but also that kind of sucks too, man, to hear myself say, like, I'll stay in your lane, because you also want to kind of always sometimes push the envelope. It's just about, again, the workaround is be very specific, the hormones level this or testosterone or this or that. There's probably different ways to write it up, but I don't know, man. I mean, it's going to be maybe the market will then have like see, the thing is though that these well, at least for boxing. So boxing's different, or anything that's athletic like that. A lot of it is like state sanctioned because these stadiums are taxpayer. For sure, boxing is a state sanctioned sport, and so they're always got to involve the state. But maybe there's going to be you can see kind of like the workaround is that there's going to be maybe some future organizations that are going to say strictly, males that have this range. That way we know that they're not cheating on testosterone stuff or whatever like this. And even for females, this range. I don't know. Whatever it is, it's coming, So it all depends on the parents, man, too. Like, I mean, it'd be interesting to find out that. So that girl, right? Whatever she, her, like the parents, what was their type of activism? Because, man, it would suck if the parents were trying to be activists through their kid and put their kid in that situation where then later on the kid is like, man, like, yeah, but I don't know, man. Like, again, you don't know any of this stuff, and it just seems too far removed. Far removed from the stuff that I got going on in my life, man.
If it's too personal, just like, you don't have to answer. But how old is the kid? How old is she?
She is 10.
Okay, so
10 or 11, something like that,
So maybe not, but maybe not where y'all are. But do you have in like the 4th through 6th grade ranges of like Pop Warner football, where you'll always have a little girl that's like the quarterback, and she's super fast, and she just makes all the boys look silly. And then as they move into junior high and high school, and they hit puberty, all of a sudden that little girl doesn't play football anymore, because now all of those boys that she was running away from and making look silly, now every one of them can break her in half without even trying hard. And like, so there's always that we had a couple girls that said they wanted to try out and play. They thought that it was discriminatory that there were no girls on the football team. So they came out to try out for football. And after they got hit once, they decided that, football was not for them, because even a dude who's, 6'3", 145 pounds, like I was at that time, I could still hit pretty fucking hard. And, like, there is a huge difference, especially. So, and that's one of the things that has been mentioned in all of this, is the fact that Leah Thomas went through male puberty. So that's what they're going to start trying to use to push this transitioning younger kids, so that they don't go through male puberty. Like that. So that's the thing that fucking terrifies me about this whole thing.
I always fall back on the Bill Burr philosophy, and that is, hey, just create your own shit. Like if all this trans stuff is so popular, start your own league. If there's so many trans athletes that we got to overhaul the entire system and have a bunch of women get the shit beat out of them by dudes, just have the trans athlete sport network and have trans athletes go against other trans athletes.
I bet it would be more popular than the WNBA.
I guarantee it would be. I'd watch it. The first 2 seasons are going to be fucking horrible, and I'm here for it. But it's like, why do you have to force your way into the male environment, the male arena, just to be able to point out that they're bigots or whatever, or they don't want to? Why can't they? And this is what Bill Burr would say. Why can't we have our own shit? Why do you always have to come in and try to knock that shit around and interject yourself into what we already had going on? Just the pool is still there. The building still exists. The lighting's still on. They're still paying their power bill. Have your own trans leagues. Why can't they just do that?
You know what? And right now, when I was listening to you, the sport where you would actually put a real test to the state and their policy would be boxing, right? Because I always say that boxing is the act of two sovereigns asking the state permission to kill each other without consequence. So if a woman was to say, I want to fight this guy, the state's not going to sanction it, because they already, because at that point, the state is what's allowing the murder if it happens. So like, yeah, no, it'll go down, man. Like, I mean, it wouldn't actually even last that long, but they don't sanction it.
So I was gonna ask you about that, because boxing is very much a weight class type of sport. So if you take a similar weight, if you take a female who's 160 pounds and put her in a ring with a dude who's 160 pounds, who's winning that match?
You know what, dude? Now I'm thinking about this fight, man. It has to be on YouTube, man. But there was a fight here in San Antonio. It was a big event. Not a big, but yeah. It was on whatever Showtime or HBO, one of those. And on the undercard, it was these two girls, and there was this Mexican. I could probably look it up. Like, I'll have to send it to you later. But it was this Mexican heavyweight woman. But dude, she looked chingona, dude. Like, you could tell she was taking stuff, right? And then, dude, check it out. This puts the whole episode together, dude. And she was fighting this black lady, this black girl, probably mid-30s or early 30s. She was from Houston or Dallas. I forgot, but dude, they were throwing down gacho, dude. Like, it was like very entertaining. Like, they were just throwing big old shots. But the black girl's hair fell off. Her hair kept coming off until the trainer just pulled that shit off and said, "Fuck, just be like that, just be whatever, whatever you got." And then they went back at it, dude. I gotta show you I gotta find it, but I was there in person, man. And then later on, because that black girl, she wasn't as skilled as the Mexican girl that was But later on, it came on like a couple weeks later that girl had tested for all kinds of stuff. The Mexican girl. But anyway, it ties everything together. I gotta send you this thing. I didn't even think about that. It was this anyway. Just saying. But they're not gonna let a girl and a guy fight. They'll let girls fight. But man, anyway, I gotta send you the fight, man. You'll be tripping out when I send it to you. You'll be like, oh shit. But it was entertaining. But anyway, I was just talking.
Why would you even wear that hair when you're getting ready to go box? It doesn't make any
Dude,
sense.
she was wearing it, and she was trying to keep it on while she was fighting until like in the corner, the trainer just like, just take that shit off, like, I mean, it's done, but so just imagine that. So that right there would be like an interesting conversation, is that you're getting punched in the face, and the culture of the hair for somebody that's black and has that type of hair is still that you're still trying to keep on the hair that is culturally accepted, man. I don't know, man. That is kind of sad. It's funny, but it's sad. That sucks. Like, it sucks.
Yeah. What's more important, maintaining your consciousness or having your fucking shit, done up? It's priorities. I don't know. Mine are different, but yeah, it's interesting because in this whole trans athlete thing, you only see men transitioning to female that are in this controversy. Where are
That's what I keep bringing up too.
Where are all the chicks that are becoming dudes that are just wiping the floor with dudes? It doesn't exist for a reason. Yeah, there are some women that are individually better than some individual men, but if you work your way up the ranks, you're gonna get smoked every fucking time. This is a known thing, but we're being asked to like have everything suspended in disbelief, like this is all a good thing for reasons, and questioning it is bad for other reasons.
So those are the two questions I always ask anybody who tries to bring this argument to me. Is that, number one, if this is such a big deal, where are all the women who have transitioned to men trying to get into men's sports? And number two, have you ever played a sport, and have you ever played against somebody of the opposite sex? Because like for me, I have very personal experience with that. Like I worked for the women's basketball teams when I was in college, and part of my job was putting together scout teams to scrimmage against the women's basketball teams and run scout teams. And I got a bunch of dudes who I knew from high school who were pretty good high school basketball players. They weren't great. Of our entire group, I was the only one who played college basketball anywhere. And very briefly at that. But like, we weren't a bunch of like D1 or even really probably D2 or D3 ball players. Like, it was just a bunch of dudes who were pretty good in high school. And so there was one practice where the girls were all fucking off and the coach got pissed. And she said, "Gloves off, boys, take it to them. Don't hold anything back." It was the most, I was a little bit uncomfortable with being that just blatantly kicking their ass, but it was fun. Like, it was fun because these are D1 women's collegiate athletes. Like, they went to the NCAA tournament, they won conference championships. The girl who ended up holding, like, I think she may still hold Murray's like all-time 3-point shooting records. One of the guys on our scout team, he stood a good 5-6 feet away from her and said, "Shoot it, just do it." And so she got the nerve up and she pulled the shot, and he just jumped straight up in the air and sends the ball flying out into the bleachers. I mean, like it was nothing. Just picked her shot out of clean air and sent it soaring. Like, there is no way that you can compare men and women in athletics. Like, if you've never stepped foot on a basketball court with female athletes and male athletes playing together, like, there's a different level.
Yeah, what earlier when we were talking about, when you were bringing up football, I started thinking, what would be the way that a woman can get onto the NFL, and I just thought, like, she'd have to be like a badass field goal kicker and protective, or not even that, like lights out, like she could just kick field goals like ice cold blood. She doesn't even care. Field goals from wherever. Just her that would have to be one way of how, but protected, like her teammates know, like, yeah, don't let her get hit, but she's gonna make these field goals, like, she's just she's just badass. Like that was what she trained for. Like not an activist dad or whatever, but they said you can't, if you want to get in the NFL, you're not going to become anything else other than, it's just the way it is. You know, you just be straight up. If you want to, you got to practice kicking from that angle, you want to. I was thinking maybe that would be it, or not even that, man. Like,
there was one that played for the Arizona Cardinals a number of years ago. I don't know that she actually like.
Oh, she did. A girl made it.
Yeah, they had. I think it was more of a gimmick than anything, but she kicked a field goal.
Yeah, same thing with
Vanderbilt.
Okay,
well, that's cool.
Same thing with Vanderbilt. They tried the same thing like 2 years ago, and it divided the locker room, and the coach isn't there any longer. And a lot of players were like furious because they had field goal kickers that were on scholarship, and they were like, "Yeah, no, we don't need you on the team. We're going to try out this chick that can't kick more than a 35-yard field goal. But if you had one that was able to knock down 60-yarders, sure, have at it. Like the movie Unnecessary Roughness coming to life. I'm down with it.
I think punter would be a better position for a female because that is like the most protected position on the football field. You know, like, I cannot touch the punter as long as she can get the ball out faster than they can get to her. She doesn't have to worry about getting hit. Granted, as far back as they are, if she does get hit, then she's probably dead. But you know, that's the risk you take when you step on a football field.
Yeah, I've always thought that the kicker position is the best one to like actually train for if you really want to make it to the like NFL without, becoming like, have mental damage and all kinds of stuff. Like I don't even know what they get paid, man, but
I would be like short Hispanic dudes who have made a career off of being kickers in the NFL. Yeah,
because sometimes we'll be drinking, hanging out, and I'll be telling like, why isn't there a Hispanic school for football kickers, man? Like let's start making one. Like just talking shit. Let's fucking make one up, man. Like we probably like if we get a cut from all these like little homies like just kicking the balls badass and shit and doing all that. They get sponsored by like all these beers. Like it'd be badass. Like and then you'd bring in the Mexican crowd and shit like that into football. Like they would just be the kickers, but I don't know. I don't think there's a school for that. But if there was, like, and your kid wanted to be in like football, go like, hey, mijo, hey, 5'3" ain't gonna cut it. It's like the only way you're gonna do it is you got to be a kicker, man, like or whatever. Like, oh, okay, like that, But I don't know. Maybe I'm just talking shit. But yeah, just like kickers, they probably make a lot of money, and they probably end up keeping like their mental capacity throughout their whole life. I mean, it'd be interesting to find out if there was like a documentary or something. If somebody actually started interviewing all the kickers and they saw all of their wealth and how they ended up at the end of the day, the kicker is probably the best position that you can probably be in American football.
Dude, I'm 100% on board with the Vatos Kickers Club. Like that needs to be a thing. I will support the shit out of that.
Every kicker I've heard talk about being a kicker has said they will never let their children be kickers because it is such a high stress position. Because like if you miss an extra point at the end of the game, like you can hit 250 out of 251, but if the one that you miss costs you a game, you're probably fired the next day, and somebody's going to replace you. And so so all the kickers that I've ever heard talk about it, they do not seem to think it's like the cushiest best job on the football field. They all have like extreme bouts of depression and anxiety and stuff like that. So there might be a little bit more that goes into it than just
no, man, because the Mexican kicker would be like, hey, I don't know about those. They want me to kick this ball through there. If I miss it, they're happy when I make it. If I miss it, fuck it. Where we're gonna go drink afterwards? Because hey, that's their sport. Like they'll be like, we're trying to score it in the goals like football. But they're like, hey, I'm good enough to kick it over there, and if I miss it, I don't give a fuck. Like these guys would not give a fuck. Mexican vato kickers would not give a shit if they miss it, dude. They would not give a shit. So no, we're a different breed, if you want to say that.
I guess so. Like you could go and like if you look up like I'm sure there's 30 for 30s for it. Like the Buffalo Bills kicker Norwood. That I don't know what his career field goal ratio was, but I'm pretty sure it was good enough to be a professional. But he's only remembered for the missed field goal in Super Bowl 25, I think, that cost him the Super Bowl. And that is his legacy forever, is that one kick. Fuck the thousands that he probably made. And it would be fucking hilarious if instead of Norwood, it was like Nogales. And he's sitting back like It's 30 years later. He's like, I still don't give a shit, man. I'll miss it again. Fuck it. Put me back out there.
What was the guy that kicked for the Vikings for like his entire career? He's like the NFL's all-time points leader. Like
You got like Morton Anderson, who also kicked for the Falcons. There's two Andersons. I think they were brothers.
Yeah, I can't remember. I don't think it was Morton. I think it was the other one. Anyway, he's like the all-time points leader in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
But the only thing anybody remembers is the fact that like every time they made it to the NFC Championship game and had an opportunity to nail a field goal to go to the Super Bowl, he would miss the fucking field goal. Like he would literally go 74 for 75 for the season, but the one that he would miss would be the one in the NFC Championship game that would cost him going to the Super Bowl. Like that, and that's all anybody. Never mind that he's literally like the most accurate kicker in NFL history, also the NFL points leader for all of history. Like he missed field goals when it was important, and that's the only thing anybody cares about.
Now let's put a woman out there and see how she handles that stress. I bet she wouldn't bitch about it once.
No, that's put her on suicide alert. Oh, this has been a lot of fun. Y'all want to give your plugs, and we will get out of here.
Have at it, Carlos.
Yeah, check out Los Libertinos. I got a new episode out today with a local sports radio guy that from San Antonio. We always would talk on the radio about football versus football, and I was able to get him on. And then I'm going to be having a 1-year anniversary podcast episode here in my home when I'm going to have Buck Johnson, Matt Erickson, Kyle Anslone, and Andrew from Properly Liberty. We're going to be shooting pool, getting fucked up, and talking about whatever the fuck I want to talk about. And so, yeah, check that out when it comes in Cinco de Mayo should hit. So, yeah, and then if you want to attend, email me at loslibertinos210@gmail.com and get your ticket, and you can be right here where I'm sitting. We're going to be hanging out, cabrito, drinks. It's going to be a lot of fun. So, for sure, check that out.
Hell yeah. Well, yeah, I'm Jim. I also have a podcast. Who the fuck doesn't? If you don't, I don't even know who you are. Mine's called Ignore the Rant, and it's ignorant as fuck, and it's just three white dudes just giving their really uneducated and very biased opinions on everyday current events, politics, and whatever the fuck else we can come up with. And let's see what else is going on. I guess you can follow me on socials if you want. Just Google Ignore the Rant. I'm very inactive on all that shit. And also, I'm ripping my boy Doug's band, Stumble Witch. We're gonna have some more information coming out, but I think they're getting ready to gear up and play a music festival in North Carolina in a little bit. More info to come, but once their album is out, I'll be pushing that heavy, and everybody go check it out. But Justin, thanks for having me on, man.
Guys, thanks for filling in and giving me some other people to talk to, so I didn't have to try to pull off a solo episode. While I am not bad at doing solo episodes on my own personal show, I feel like I really suck doing it here. So it's always nice to have other people to bounce stuff off of. Speaking of my own show, I also put out an episode today. I kind of did a little bit of a follow-up to Monday's episode that I did with Mark, where we talked about right-wing violence. So today I did kind of a follow-up to that episode, looking at another article. So head over to Fact Check This Podcast and check out today's episode. Make sure you go hit up Carlos at Los Libertinos and watch today's episode. I promise you it was a very good one. I get early access to all of Carlos's stuff, so I can promise you they are all phenomenal. And check out Jim with Ignore the Rant. They are wildly hilarious. Jim may not think that it's a good show, but everybody who listens to it agrees. It is one of the funniest podcasts that you're going to listen to, whether they mean to be or not. And I kind of feel like that's how we do things around here at the morning after. So be sure to tune in again on Friday when we talk about who knows what. I'll put it in the episode title, and then we won't actually talk about it. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.
Hell yeah.